Can your local apologetic explain this? Yes. Yeah, what's going on, party people? The place to be. I go by the name of the BK Apologist, transmitting all the way live. New York is the city, Brooklyn is the borough. What's good? What's popping? Hope everybody's having a good time, enjoying the fall. The unlike fall weather, at least if you're from the East Coast, it's been kind of. It hasn't been too hot. Well, it's been hot, but not humid, which I'll take any day of the week, right? So. But we got Angela J in the building. We got Nicholas in the building. It's good to see you guys in the chat. And listen, for those who are in the chat or in the bushes watching, please like, share, and subscribe. Try to get to 5K before the year's out. I'm only like 100 some odd subs away. So I would greatly appreciate it if you could just really not only subscribe, but tell a friend to tell a friend. That's him again. Please share this link so we can get the chat crowded. And if you like how it goes down with Mr. BK, you can show your appreciation via some digital coinage through the PayPal link that's pinned on top of the chat. Or if you want to be a monthly supporter of BK, you can join the Patreon where you get an assortment of goodies to enhance your personal Bible study. That's right. Yes. We got Bodega Lady Michelle Turner in the building. What's going on? So, we, are as apologists, we defend the faith against various ideologies and worldviews that not only go contrary to the gospel, but literally come and attack the gospel. And one of those organizations that does that quite a bit is known as IUIC, right? And this recent member from IUIC, I don't know if it's in this video, but I heard him speak in another video about how he did like this 14-day blitz on apologists. I'm assuming that must have been maybe TikTok, whatever. I didn't see him doing that on YouTube. Maybe he did. I'm just saying I wasn't privy to it. But he made this claim for this video called "Can Your Local Apologetic Explain This?" So, I like a good challenge. So we're gonna look at this thing that is supposed to be very difficult for us to explain, and then we're gonna go ahead and explain it. That's basically what the gist of this video will be. All right. So, with that being said, let's get to the first clip.
Esau. Language, cultural origin, Hebrew.
What do you mean?
Meaning hairy.
Damn. Go ahead.
Spiritual connotation. Reconciling.
Right,
related.
Let's go down. Let's read it real quick. Let's read the
background
highlight.
story.
Let's read the highlight. I don't want to read the background story. I want the highlight. Okay. Right down the bottom. There you go.
Of interest, according to the commentaries on Hebrew scripture, Esau is considered a significant character in world history.
And what else?
And the forefather of the Roman Empire.
You hear that? Esau is the forefather of the Roman Empire, meaning Esau is the so-called white man, meaning he's the one that taught you the Christianity you follow today, which he got from Satan. You cannot refute it. All right, go to the next book. Modern Judaism. Go to the next book.
All right, so you heard that. All right, we cannot refute that. Right, according to Mr. Gadaliah. Okay, so let me share my screen. All right. So this was the highlighted part from that clip. Right? It says here of interest. According to the commentaries on Hebrew scriptures, Esau is considered a significant character in world history and the forefather of the Roman Empire. This is the claim that this particular book is making. But of course, this claim comes from somewhere, right? It didn't just drop from the sky. How did they come to this conclusion that Esau is the forerunner of the Roman Empire, right? And we're going to look at the religion of Idumea and its relation to early Judaism by Yigal Levin Orchid. Despite the assimilation of Idumea and its inhabitants into Judea towards the end of the 2nd century BCE, and despite the huge influence that Herod and his descendants had on Judea, Jerusalem, and the temple throughout the remaining 170 years of their existence and beyond, late Second Temple and rabbinic Judaism essentially obfuscated any memory of the Idumeans. This could easily be seen in most of the late Second Temple period pseudepigrapha. Beside the story of a conflict between Esau and Jacob in the Hebron area in Jubilees, which may reflect a pre-John Hyrcanus reality, the later pseudepigrapha, such as the Testaments of the 12 Tribes, for Ezra, First Enoch, and others mostly built upon the biblical depiction of the enmity between Edom and Israel, retrojected this enmity to the figure of Esau himself. Most scholars find very little historical value in these sources beyond the very stereotype that they portray. So this idea of all these particular people groups coming from the forerunner of Esau, there's just no historical value, right? The same stereotypical view of Edom can be seen in rabbinic literature. Again, taking its lead from the Bible, the rabbis use, quote, Edom, unquote, as an epithet for Israel's arch enemy, first identified with Rome, and later after the early 4th century CE as a code name for the church. The many stories in Genesis, Rabbah, the feature the evil-doing Esau are a good example of how this negative view of, quote, Edom, unquote, was projected onto the character of Edom's eponymous ancestor. So Esau became the catch-all for anyone that opposed rabbinic Judaism. Right? That's what happened. It became the slang. Right? You know how we say it's the ops? Well, for them, ops is Esau. Right? So the Idumeans were the ops, so they were Esau. Then later on, the Roman Empire was the ops, so they became Esau. And then by the 4th century, right, the church is the ops. So now, guess what? The church is Esau too. But it's not built on any actual historical data at all. This is something that the rabbinical Jews use as a nickname for their enemies. So there isn't a one-to-one correlation between the two. Right? The Edomians really like y'all, you're Esau. Right? The Greco-Roman Empire, we don't like y'all, you're Esau. The church, we definitely don't like y'all, you're Esau. So this is where a lot of Hebrew Israelites get the understanding of Esau being the white man and being the adversary. They're getting it from rabbinic literature. And the rabbinic literature is using it as a catch-all phrase for whoever basically is in opposition to them. That's where we're getting it from. The Jewish medieval notion that Edom serves as a euphemism for Rome or Christianity strays considerably from the plain meaning of the text. It is difficult to accept that Isaiah would use the name Edom, a nation all too familiar to his audience, in order to refer to an entity his contemporaries could not understand, given that Rome did not yet exist. This is even more problematic given that the prophecy is explicitly addressed to his listeners. Draw near, O nations, to hear, O peoples, give heed. If Isaiah's reassurance in chapter 35, quote, straighten the weak hands, and make firm the feeble knees. Say to those who are of a fearful heart, be strong, do not fear, refers to the destruction of Rome. How can his words possibly encourage listeners in his own time? Doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. But again, the rabbis, the rabbinic Judaism was playing fast and loose with the terminology, again, using it as a code word for the adversary, the enemy, the ops, if you will. All right, so with that, let's get ready to go to the next clip. All right, just give me a second here, guys. All right. Talks amongst yourselves. Yeah, we could start from here. Oh, no, not that. No, can't do it that way. That's too big. All right. Oh, I'm not even sharing. Hold up. Thought I was sharing. Righty. There we go.
Right. Go to the next book. Modern Judaism. Go to the next book. Modern Judaism. Because see, an apologist will never ever deal with this. They run from this. They go to the founding fathers, the church fathers. We showed you last week, them church fathers were not church fathers at all. Watch this. Read that. Esau's
descendants are the subject of extensive traditions.
Skip down to
First, that the descendants of Esau, the sworn enemy of the descendants of Jacob, even to the end of the world.
That's all I want. See, even to the end of the world. I want you to skip down. Let's read right there where it says extended their dominion towards the west. Go back up a little bit. There you go.
Extended their dominion towards the west.
This is Esau, by the way. Read.
Spread their colonies far and wide.
And they spread colonies far and wide.
Subjugated Italy.
They took over Italy, which we formerly owned. Go ahead.
Founded Rome.
They founded Rome.
And the Roman Empire.
Boom. Esau. The classical biblical baby names told you that the Hebrew scholars of the time, the commentators, the commentaries all pointed to the fact that Esau, Edom, is the father of the Roman Empire. Now we're looking at the book Modern Judaism. Esau founded Rome and the Roman Empire. Go ahead.
And that in the present day, professing the religion of Jesus of Nazareth.
Wait a minute. And at the present day, professing the religion of the Jesus of Nazareth. The key word is professing, because it's not the truth. It's something that they profess or they proclaim, but it does not back up scripture or historical facts.
So boom, right? That's it. No apologists would ever try to refute this. This is kryptonite to us, right, guys? There's no way anybody in the UA would dare. Right? This is kryptonite. We melt from the mere thought of having to deal with this material. Right? That's what Gedaliah wants to tell us. But Gedaliah is very smart. In fact, the word I would say is he's cunning. Right? Because if you notice, as I go and share my screen, let's look at the source that he used, which is also part of his thumbnail, right? This is the thing here that no apologist, no apoloprophetic, as they like to say, would ever deal with. If you notice, he highlights the first sentence, and then he tells the reader to skip the middle part and get to the other highlighted area. There is a reason why he does this. All right. And what I find interesting is the very screenshot of the quote that he is citing actually undercuts his argument. All right. So, of course, I have the book in which they speak of. So I wanted a clearer writing of the quote. And this is from Modern Judaism by John Allen. And this is what he says. This is what we saw earlier, right? This is this page. Okay. Hold on. Let me get back. All right. Esau's descendants are the subject of extensive traditions. Right? Now, that's the part he does read. Then he tells the guy, well, skip the rest, skip the rest, skip the rest. Here's why he skips the rest, ladies and gentlemen. So let me start again. Esau's descendants are the subjects of extensive traditions in which the rabbis, with an effrontery at which we should wonder and any other men, have set at defiance all authentic history and accurate chronology. These representations, the fallacy of which will be too obvious to require being pointed out, may be briefly comprised under the following heads. Now, the word effrontery, right, is an archaic English word, right? It means it's shameless, boldness, insolence, right? And what does it mean to be insolent? Insultingly contemptuous in speech or conduct, overbearing, right? Exhibiting boldness or effrontery, impudence, right? That's what effrontery means. So let's get back to the quote again, right? Esau's descendants are the subjects of extensive traditions at which the rabbis, with an effrontery, with their insolence, at which we would wonder in any other men, have set at defiance all authentic history and accurate chronology. The writer of this book is saying of the rabbis, when they speak of these Esau traditions, are being insolent more than any other persons. And they are defying authentic history and accurate chronology. This is why they're insolent. They're actually going against what actually happened. They're not even considering authentic history or accurate chronology. They're not caring about the actual timeline of how these events occurred. They're not. It's an effrontery. And these representations, the fallacy of which will be too obvious to require being pointed out, may be briefly comprised under the following heads. So the gentleman here, Mr. John Allen, is saying that these traditions about Esau come from insolent rabbis who could care less about timelines and authentic history, and that their fallacious claims are so illogical that we shouldn't even have to point it out. But we're going to go now and start, right? We're going to start and look at a list of the fallacious statements made by these insolent rabbis that defy history and chronology. And what's the first thing they say about these insolent rabbis, about Esau? First, that the descendants of Esau, the sworn enemies of the descendants of Jacob, even to the end of the world, founded Rome and the Roman Empire. That's the claim. Gadaliah is reading this source as a backup to the claim that Esau is the Roman Empire is a direct descendant of Esau. But the same source that he is citing from is saying that idea, that tradition, comes from insolent rabbis who defy accurate history and chronology. But let's keep reading. At length, entirely overturned the Jewish state, which had been restored after the termination of the Babylonian captivity, the second temple being destroyed by Titus Vespasian, and that in the present day professing the religion of Jesus of Nazareth, which they were the first of all nations to embrace. They hold the dominion over all Europe. Right? He reads all this. He's like, see, Esau did this. They conquered Rome. They took Italy, and they profess this false Christianity. right? But this is a list of fallacious traditions concocted by insolent rabbis in their effrontery define accurate history and chronology. This is what the writer is saying about these traditions, aka these are lies. This is fugazi. The rabbis are talking out the side of their neck. None of this is true. This is what the author is saying. But yet Gedaliah is citing the source as if this backs up the claim that it is true. But the writer is saying the complete opposites. The complete opposites. And again, he cuts himself. I didn't even need to have the book, chat. None of us did. All we had to do is press pause the minute he shows the screenshot of this page and read it in what? Say it with me, context. All we had to do. That's right. Esau descendants are the subjects of extensive traditions. Oh, no. Skip that part and go to the. No, let's not skip it. Let's keep reading. In which the rabbis, with an effrontery at which we would wonder in any other man, have set at defiance all authentic history and accurate chronology. These representations, what representations? The effrontery that defies history and chronology, the fallacy of which, right, these things, are too obvious to require pointing. Like, this is so trash, I shouldn't even have to point this out. This is how bad these things are. This is how easy it is to see that this is not accurate history, right? It's too obvious. May be briefly comprised under the following heads. He's like, even though this is obvious, I'm going to compile a list of these horrendous claims from these insolent rabbis showcasing their effrontery towards chronology and history, beginning with Esau being the forerunner of the Roman Empire. It's there. It's in the very screenshot of the page that he is sharing. But us apologists, we're too scared to look into that, because all they read is the founding fathers. Well, it's the church fathers, first of all, right? And we read all sorts of literature, sir. And you do too. The problem is you guys don't read it in the context. We do. Keep reading. But again, they are being consistent in their research methodology. What do I mean? They eisegete any and all texts. It's not just the Bible that they eisegete. It's any work of literature. They will take out of context. It doesn't matter if it's Leviticus, Exodus. It doesn't matter if it's the modern Judaism. It doesn't matter if it's any book. They don't read for understanding. They only read to confirm their bias. And time again, we have shown them that their bias cripples their understanding so much that most of the stuff that they claim backs up their ideology actually does the opposites. It does the opposites. But they're hoping that you don't take the time out to read. Oh, I'm just focus, don't look behind the curtain of the great and powerful Gedaliah. Don't look behind the curtain. Just read what's highlighted. Never mind the stuff that's in the middle that actually destroys my point. Forget that part. Let's just fast forward to the other highlighted part. But they can't refute this. They won't touch this. Oh no, they're too scared. There's no way he said that, right? None of the apologists are going to touch this. Well, we touched it. And you shouldn't have, because this actually hurts your argument. This hurts your argument. You know, the very source that you claim proves that the Greco-Roman Empire comes from Esau literally says the opposite. You're like, that claim comes from a bunch of insolent rabbis in their effrontery, so much so beyond every other human, who defy actual history and chronology, whose claims of traditions are so fallacious that it's so obvious that I shouldn't even have to put it on paper. But just to make sure you see what I'm saying, here's the list of the fallacious claims that are not true. They say that Esau is the forerunner of the Roman Empire. He's saying that's fallacious. It's not true. It flies in the face of actual history and chronology, guys. So that's it. You know, and for those, again, who are, you know, watching in the bushes, who are not writing anything in the chat, just watching, who might be on the fence about, you know, should I still be a Christian? I'm hoping this helps you. These guys are not sincerely looking for truth. They're here to confirm their bias, that they have an agenda. And the agenda is not seeking truth. Because he read that page. You know why I know? Because he made sure that we don't focus on the middle part of that page. He highlighted the first sentence on top, and he told his reader, okay, now read the rest. Skip down. Don't worry about that. Read the other highlighted part. Because those are parts I like. Those are the parts that help me in my argument. That middle stuff, all the words in the middle, not so much. Not so much. So do not be swayed by these guys. They're not being sincere. Gedaliah read that. He saw it, and he knew that part didn't help his argument. And he was banking that his audience would not look at that part and only look at the parts he highlighted. And then turn around and say that we are scared of that page. I look scared to you? Just say it. So, and again, if you are a Christian, you made the right decision. And it's hard living in the world and not being a part of it. And the climate is just really volatile, especially for those of us who are, you know, black and brown. And it might be tempting to stray from the faith because these other things scratch a particular itch that we have. And what I'm saying is, it might feel good at the moment, but it's not going to satisfy you. Because as you see, these guys have an agenda, and it's not truth. Stay with Christianity. Why? Because that's the worldview that tethers itself to truth. Right? And as long as these guys come at Christianity, me and many others will defend the faith. And I pray that you're edified, you're encouraged by this. And please share this video so that more people, because I know a lot of us have friends and family who are being beguiled by this kind of doctrine. You know, and a lot of times we feel insecure because we don't know how to properly defend what we do believe is true. And listen, we were all there at one point. You know, I'm here, and many of us in the UA, we are here to assist you in your defense of the gospel. So by you sharing our material and our videos, you know, it helps to get the word out so that more believers can be equipped to defend their faith and be confident in doing so. Okay? So thank you for checking me out, for listening. And I think we answered the question of can your local apologetic explain this? I think we've did a good job there. So with that being said, this is BK signing off. Peace.